This documentary is made on the backs of everybody before us. Dan, yourself covering the story, everybody contributed, kept this story alive for 4 years. We're now in a lawsuit. It's going to take years.
And we all know this, that you cannot trust 100% the government. And this is all about.
To hear such a story is so heart-wrenching. And if you have any bit of empathy, being a parent, you can imagine this happening to you. Well, you can't imagine it happening to you. So
my son took the shot and died. That's the facts, and they're indisputable.
For Rebel News, I'm Tamara Ugolini here in Barrie, Ontario, at the screening of The Shot, Sean Hartman's story. And it's a documentary detailing the trials and tribulations of Dan Hartman, Sean's dad. Sean was the 17-year-old who simply wanted to get back to his beloved sport of hockey in a time of indiscriminate and sweeping COVID-19 vaccine mandates. Sean's story has a tragic and heartbreaking ending where he was found lifeless beside his bed 33 days after taking his first Pfizer dose. So I'm going to head on inside, view a screening of the documentary itself, and I'm going to touch base with some of the attendees and Dan and others to find out what's top of mind in 2026, years after the fallout of these mandates and injections continues. So stay tuned.
Unfortunately, my only son had to have a shot to play hockey. He was forced into it, coerced into it, told it was safe and effective. After my son Sean took his first Pfizer shot, he was found dead on the floor beside his bed on the morning of September 27th, 2021.
I'm here with Dean Rainey, who is the director of The Shot, Sean Hartman's story. And this is your second vaccine injury documentary in the last few months. Just to kind of go back to the last one, Why Can't We Talk About This, featuring the story of Michael Osh. Do you have an update on Michael's condition and where things are with him?
Yeah, actually, I do. Since the documentary came out, we got a lot of support from people. He got a lot of protocols, supplied to him or suggested to him. And he has gone on some protocols, one involving augmented NAC, which is a supplement. And he's seen some positive results. So we're actually working on a sequel to the first film. And this is sort of an epilogue, I guess, a short film to go on to sort of show his progress. Because when we made that first film, man, it did not end with a happy ending, right? And we both felt like, can we do more? And that coming out and getting the support from people and the encouragement and just the love, he just started to get a positive spirit and really start to battle back. And so we're seeing some improvements in that. And so we're pleased and happy and excited to do this epilogue.
Yeah, and especially the title itself, Why Can't We Talk About This? Now you're a few months later with The Shot documentary being released. Have you noticed a shift there or a change in people's ability or readiness to have that dialogue?
Yes and no. Privately, I get a lot of people who won't say anything, publicly or on social, but come up to me and say, I saw your film. It's fantastic. Oh my gosh. Or I think I might have an injury or something. So yes, there's that. But, with the release of The Shot, we're still seeing promos be throttled. We're still seeing, censorship. Theaters won't take it. People not really wanting to help promote it. So we've come a long ways, but we're not there yet.
What was the driver to do a documentary on Sean's and Dan's fight for justice for him?
Well, when I was going around from town to town and showing Why Can't We Talk About This, every screening, someone in the audience would come up to me and ask me if I had heard of what happened to Sean Hartman. Mm-hmm. And so I was familiar, but I was in the middle of, getting that film out there, my first film. So I thought, I can't take on this other one. I'm still trying to get this other one out there.
Why was it important to be here for this screening today?
Well, I've been following Dan for a few years now. I first met him down at one of the Queen's Park protests, and when I found out about his son, realized that it happened in the town I live in. His son, Sean Hartman, is laid to rest in a small town called Beaton, where I live. So I followed this with great interest. I think mainly because being a father myself, to hear such a story is so heart-wrenching. And if you have any bit of empathy, being a parent, you can imagine this happening to you. Well, you can't imagine it happening to you. So, yeah, so I come out to see this documentary because I think this documentary is going to make a big, big, big difference. It's wonderfully done. It really is. I suggest anyone, if you have a chance to see The Shot, do. It's well worth the time. Well worth it, yes.
There's tens of thousands of others, children, that have been severely harmed by this COVID-19 gene therapy.
And so we launched a lawsuit against Pfizer for wrongful death. We also launched a lawsuit against the government of Canada for fraud and deceit.
This was when I asked for information about the COVID vaccine, which they give Moderna. And this is what I was given. And I just opened...
Keeps rolling. It keeps rolling out. So it's supposed to be filled
with information about the shot, what's in it. But that's what I had asked for, was what is in it, because I'm thinking about getting it, which was not true. But anyways.
Well, this is a necessary and legal requirement for informed consent.
Yes.
Is to be able to weigh the risk versus benefit of the product that you're to receive. And so this paperwork, still in 2026, says on it, intentionally blank. And we'll zoom in just a moment. But I don't think the pharmacist, do you think he realized when he was giving it to you?
Absolutely not. And you know what, honestly, I don't know if he was the pharmacist, but there were two gentlemen there, and I'm thinking surely one of them was. And this is what they handed me. I said I wanted to know what's in it, and so I could take it home and inform myself. And this is what he gave me, and I stuck it in my pocket. It's been in my pocket for 2 days, and I just decided to look at it now after this screening.
Well, in the screening, it's noted in there that someone wanted to seek informed consent and asked for this product monograph, and it's intentionally blank.
Well, we just had our appeal in Toronto on January 26th. That's against Health Canada in front of 3 judges, and my lawyer did really well. And now we have to wait for the decision. It could be 2, 3, 4 months. I don't know. Playing the waiting game like usual. And the Pfizer lawsuit, they've given us their statement of defense in December. And now we're hoping to get to discovery with Pfizer, and that would be the next step for them.
There really, nothing can happen without discovery. Without that disclosure, without the legal requirement for discovery, everything is at a standstill. And so we know that the wheels of justice are slow turning, but I mean, this case really highlights just how slow they really are.
Oh yeah, it's very painful to wait this long. It's so many years to just hear, Sean gets his justice. That's all I want. The guilty verdict, that's it. I'm just hoping and praying. I want this all to be over. I've been doing this for so long, and every day I'm tired. I just want justice for Sean. That's it.
Why was it important for you to host the event today?
If they when they come to us, this is very close to our hearts. We all come from a communist country, and we all know this that you cannot trust 100% the government, and this is all about any kind of regime. If it's either communism or mandatory vaccines, comes to one point. Is enslave people to some ideas, and we always oppose that, especially that we have those history in the back.
So the feedback's been positive so far. It doesn't look like there was a dry eye in the House today, but this is our first premiere, and so we'll see how it goes from town to town. But it has gotten a lot of support online. The trailer has done very well. Dan has a big army. He has a lot of people supporting him, so that really helps. But then I think the story really is about sports, young people, athletics, myocarditis. And so it's bringing back a lot of memories for the last couple of years when people remember these athletes dropping dead or having cardiac arrest on the field, and then the mystery behind their recovery or what it was. And so I think it's interested a lot of people. It's piqued a lot of people's interest.
Coming back, and I know he's never coming back. And the combination of rage and sadness is powerful. People, please join me in the fight and help me beat them. For Sean and for everybody.
What's something that you wish the public knew, or a message that you have for the public, pre this documentary, but especially in light of it?
I think the most important note is that this story of safe and effective, people have been convinced that the mRNA shot, called a gene therapy, has been effective in taking care of the COVID pandemic and the sicknesses. But what has been left behind is the amount of injuries and deaths, and we're starting to hear more and more, and there seems to be a concerted effort to block that out. And I think, and especially with this new documentary, The Shot, it makes it obvious that there are, I think more and more people are understanding it, and because they're getting to know somebody who has been injured, somebody who has died, or they know somebody who knows someone who has died. So that whole story of safe and effective, I think, has to be carried forward so that people are going to ask a little more questions before they just, take it for granted that the government knows what they're doing. I'm not any kind of an insurrectionist or anti-government, but the government needs to be questioned a little bit more. And that program that they kind of convinced us to get involved with, I think needs to be questioned a lot more, and we're seeing more and more proof of that coming out.
What can you say about your case and perhaps the similarities, but also the differences between what happened to Sean?
I think the similarities would probably most likely be because of the Pfizer batches, as well as mandates and, telling them you have to do it, peers, everyone peer pressuring, young kids that were in lockdowns. People are like, well, you weren't forced and you could have said no. We could have, but we were never been through lockdowns in our lives. I've never known what it's like to miss out on everything. So for these kids and people who actually had to go get it, through the lies and, gifts that they were getting, concert tickets or movie tickets, at least in Michigan, they were doing stuff like that. And, I feel like myocarditis was a big play in both, because Auburn was also diagnosed with myocarditis as well.
How do you tie in the people who have maybe been focusing and reporting on a lot of these stories and this evidence over the last 4 years, and the relationship between that work and how that resulted in where this documentary is today?
This documentary is made on the backs of everybody before us. Dan, yourself covering the story, everybody contributed, kept this story alive for 4 years. We're now in a lawsuit. It's going to take years. The battle's not over. We've got a long ways to go. And I'm just coming in at halftime, it feels like, and just going, all right, I'm going to help keep going too. I've got some energy. Jason has some energy. And we're just going to give this a big boost. But it's definitely built on the back of everybody before us. And I think, if we can just give those people a rest, and then we're going to need you later just to keep it going, because this story has to go the distance.
And I think people really don't recognize the magnitude of social isolation that played such a role in the mandates and this whole situation for teenagers who are in that pivotal point in their life where they rely on their social circle, their extracurriculars.
Because that age group, you're missing out on everything. They were 17. They didn't get to graduate. My daughter didn't get to go get her full license. She had never been kissed. It's just they're so young and innocent, and that's what they fed on. It's just burnt. It's sick. Everywhere did that, I feel. Canada, the United States, everyone was so different in different areas, but that was the main focus.
If you haven't said so already, why was it important for you to make this trek to be here tonight at the first screening of Sean's Shot?
To support Dan, obviously, and to support this cause, because when you know your children did something for they thought was a good cause, it's absolutely heartbreaking to think that, I hope they weren't aware of what was happening. People ask me, do you think Auburn regretted it? And I say I hope she didn't even know. I hope she had no idea what was going on, because the thought of her or Sean thinking, I was warned about it, because I begged her not to do it too, just like Dan did. My ex took her to go get it so she could go on her trip, and I had no part in it, but, it's a fight you have to do for them, and they deserve justice because, they mattered. They, when you have children that die of cancer, it's kind of like an expect, it's something you go through, you think about, but getting your children vaccinated to save people and themselves is not something you would imagine. That's how your children.
Anything from you, Dan? Message to the people?
Just learn from what happened to Sean, okay? I'm not an anti-vaxxer crazy person. I'm not out here to lie to people. I'm just telling you the truth about what happened to my son. And it is the truth, and none of it is a lie. My son took the shot and died. That's the facts, and they're indisputable.
NoMoreShots.ca is the website that we started to shine a light on these novel injections. And to find out more about this topic, my reporting highlighting some of the contamination issues, discrepancies, and other inherent safety concerns, you can head to that website, NoMoreShots.ca. Also consider supporting my work there if you appreciate it. Thanks so much in advance.